Hey everybody, it's Rob the Backyard Gardener, and a lot of you have been asking about the update to my apple tree grown from seed series. So I figured it was time to get you updated on these trees and explain why I postponed this update for so long. So I think we should go ahead and kick it off with the tree that everyone's wondering about. This is the tree that actually flowered last year, flowered this year, and we were wondering whether it was going to be crab apples or possibly a different species of apple that was going to be edible. And unfortunately, even though we did set fruit this year, once again, we have crab apple size green apples. And I did a taste test on these last year thinking that possibly because they were a little sweeter than crab apples, that maybe because of the size of the tree, that was why we had such small apples, and it was the first year it fruited. Well, this is now the second year that it's produced flowers and then fruit, and it had a whole bunch of these little guys on here, and they were about half this size about 3 months ago. I plucked off several of them, hoping to egg or urge on the remaining fruit to get a lot bigger. Well, they didn't. I'll pull one off here. They did not get much bigger, as you can see. They did not get much bigger. So I'm thinking this is probably just your run-of-the-mill green crabapple tree. I have left these fruit on here thinking that they might get a little bit bigger in size, but they have not. So unfortunately, I think the consensus on this tree is that we just have another species of crabapple. Now I'm gonna take a bite of this to tell you if I taste that it's bitter or sweet or anything. Give me 1 second. So I've taken a small bite out of it and chewed it for a bit and spit it back out. It is clearly, based on the dryness, a little bit of a tartness to it, definitely a crab apple. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm still gonna include it in my future updates because I do have other trees that are just as old that have not flowered yet, and maybe they will produce edible apples in the upcoming years. We've talked a lot about this one being coined the Twin Tower and talked about splitting this off and maybe propagating this or air layering it. But at the end of the day, I have enough crabapple trees in my yard. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing is just letting this guy be. I will take probably a few feet off the top. He's almost 10 feet tall now. He's probably 9, maybe 9.25 feet tall. So we'll take a few feet off of that, let him spread out and branch out once again this next year, see what kind of production we get. Again, there is a slim possibility that it's just been his first 2 years and possibly some of these fruit will get bigger. I don't know. You just never know with crab apples, and even if they get bigger, I don't think they're gonna be edible apples. But I wanted to give you a look on this guy just so we can get you caught up on what's going on. I do know I need to maintain around this base. Fruit trees like to grab a lot of their nutrients from the topsoil, and grass and weeds and things like that will hurt for the nutrition of the tree itself. So I do need to go ahead and dig around here, pull all the weeds out, get some bark laid down for the winter. So that's the update on this guy. Let me go ahead and take you over to his brother or sister, if you will, and show you how that one's doing. So here's a look at the trunk of the second apple tree. This is the original one that I had planted out here first before you saw the other one on the other side of the yard. These were sown from seeds that I got from a Gala Apple on January 1st, 2016. So in about 3 months, they'll be 4 years old. That's including this one, as well as the one that flowered the last 2 years on the other side of the yard that I showed first in this video. The irony is this one's growing a lot better than the other one, and I think it's because it's not supporting any flowers or fruit during the last 2 years, and it just continues to get bigger and bigger. Now, I've topped this guy several times over the last several years, but I have not topped him at all this year, and he's about 14 feet tall as we speak. Now, I will be sculpting the top of this, taking about 3 feet off the top, getting him back to a manageable level, and we'll see how he does. But I wanted to give you an update on him as well. I pulled this water sprout off, or cut it off, I should say. It was attached down here, but this trunk now is getting wrist size. So this guy is definitely getting larger and larger and larger. He is a little bit impeded by my Loring peach tree as well as my magnolia tree, but I've been sculpting him so that he can fit right in this spot. And at the end of the day, whether he produces fruit or not, I definitely want to keep him managed to a certain height so that if he ever does produce fruit, the fruit's not way at the top. On top of that, I need to allow some sun to this side of the yard to get to the rest of my garden. Anyway, wanted to give you a good look at him. No flowering, no fruiting yet, but growing like a weed. The final 3 apple trees I want to update in this series are the ones that were part of my Apple Series 2. These were planted about 6 months, or grown from seed 6 months after the January 1st, 2016 ones. So they're at 39 months. These guys were stunted because I left them in pots indoors for a very long time, but they're finally starting to put on size, except for this one. This guy has had problems from day one. The birds always pull the leaves off of him, so he's constantly being messed with. And then this one is actually starting to finally get on some size as well. Now these have not been maintained on this side of the yard as well as they should. I was just letting them do their thing. I will spend some time taking care of this, pruning them, providing them with a little bit better of a canopy. But as it stands right now, I just wanted to give you a quick update on them. You can see the extent of the birds pulling off the leaves. I don't know why they do that on this side of the yard, but they just enjoy pulling the leaves off of these and making nests out of them, I guess. But yeah, I wanted to give you guys a quick update on these ones that are now 39 months old. Again, none of these have flowered. All 3 have not flowered, as well as the big one that you just saw. So we still are holding out some hopes, fingers crossed, that one of these guys in the next 1 to 5 years puts on some flowers that end up not being crab apples that we can go ahead and test for you guys in a future video. I postponed this series because there really was not much to show you guys. These 3 on this side of the yard weren't putting on much size for several of the months. There's no flowers. The fruit on the one over there was definitely going to look like crab apple, so I figured why videotape that if there's nothing to see. And then of course I've been a little bit busy with my other ventures in life, so I apologize for keeping you guys neglected on garden updates, and it's almost time to repaint my garden sign as well. So there you have it, everyone. That's my update on my apple trees grown from seed that are now 45 months old, as well as the ones in the side yard that are at 39 months. I know it's been a while since I've kept you updated. Again, I apologize for that. I've been really busy with other things that I have going on, and there just wasn't a lot to show you. That being said, I am going to be getting you updates on my other Grown from Seed series, so stay tuned for those. I do appreciate those that have been following the series. We will continue these series updates as frequent as I can when there's something to provide for sure. Hopefully you still enjoyed the video despite the lack of progress on these trees. If you did, I really would appreciate a thumbs up. And as always, everyone, happy gardening, and thanks for watching.